Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about and the people that run it. I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski, and we are here again at Cave over in AquaTurf. And with us, a special guest, friend of mine worked with for many years, Miss Judy Soda. So, hi, Judy.
Hi, Dave.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, I think the overall the event was very much of a success today.
Huge success today.
It was great to see people back in person again.
Yes.
And so forth. So anyway, again, thanks for coming over. I started this podcast a little over a month ago, and it's focusing on making our younger listening high school students aware of some of the careers in the water industry. So, tell us about your first career or first job in the water industry.
My very first job was right out of high school. I worked as a customer service rep for Greco and Haynes, which is a well water company.
Yep, the yellow trucks.
Yes, the yellow trucks. And then after that, I did an interview with the Regional Water Authority, and they hired me as the administrative assistant in the finance department.
Yeah, I can remember your desk was upstairs outside the round room.
That's right. Yes.
And so now I think at that time, who was CEO then? Larry?
Dick McHugh.
Dick McHugh.
Back in 1989.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
My God, that
Dating myself.
Oh my God! Jeez, I think. Well, hey, we've been. This isn't our first rodeo, right, for sure, and so forth. So, getting into the regional. Obviously, a regional is a quasi-public, water utility. As far as that, how did that work for you?
Very well.
Oh, okay.
Very well. I retired from there after a 31-year career.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yes, I would say. Now, your education going into the water guy. I think one of the things too is that we're trying to make young students aware of the water utility business is a big tent. There's a lot of opportunity in it.
So I went in. Second job out of high school.
Yep.
No education other than high school.
Yep.
I was very lucky that the Regional Water Authority provided tuition assistance.
Okay.
So I did part-time classes for many years.
Okay.
In environmental science, decided I didn't like that.
Okay.
Kind of did all right, well, if I'm going to stay here, what am I going to do?
Okay.
And as I said, I was an administrative assistant, secretarial.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at the positions available and what qualifications I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I went to basically secretarial school, Stone Academy, and I got my diploma in office administration, which was, lucky enough, regional helped to fund that.
Right, okay.
And then I did well in that program, and my mentor, Noel Grant,
Absolutely.
from Regional,
yes,
he strongly encouraged me to continue my education.
Uh-huh.
So then I did the accelerated program with Albertus Magnus.
Ah, okay.
So I graduated with my bachelor's degree in business management.
Oh, okay.
So, and by that point, I had worked my way up in the water company, and I was executive assistant to David Silverstone, who was the CEO at the time.
Yes, I remember David, yes. He had his Jaguar.
Yes.
I remember going down to meetings and parking. Hey, you're in my parking spot. So, nice.
Well, that doesn't seem like David.
So, and again, I think you've been involved in the section for
I have a great story with
the
the section.
Oh, really?
I do.
Do tell.
So, when I started at Regional, we had directors at the time.
Yeah.
Was Andy Potocny, who happened to be the treasurer of the section at the time. And I was the admin in the finance department. So one day he literally handed me the checkbook and said, "Here, balance that." And I've literally been involved with the section in some way, usually in the background,
Since then. See?
And then I was Noel Grant's assistant. He was the chair of the section.
Yeah.
So Noel kind of brought me in a little deeper.
Yeah.
But then it just progressed. I've always been in the background.
Nice.
And now
Yeah.
I'm on the board.
Yeah, now you're on the board.
I'm on the board.
See, there you go. Well, I think I was past chair in 17, I think, or whatever.
Wow.
But in a long time. But I can remember going to many meetings down at Regional. In fact, I took over the chairmanship of the Conservation Committee, from Mary Ann Dickinson.
Oh, yep.
Okay, and when
Yep.
Mary Ann was working for Regional back in the day, and then we went through that whole thing of, handing out the water conservation kits
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff, and that was a
Yep.
thing. And
Bottle your own water campaign.
yes, there have been many
Yes.
many campaigns, over the years. So, so what's your favorite memory of the water industry?
Oh, well, my funnest years, is that a word, was working for the service department.
Okay.
And working with the guys out in the field.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of before I had moved up, but those were the more fun years, I would say. I was much younger then.
Yes, yes. With the rowdy crew out in
Yes.
the field. Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
But
sure.
I do have to say the most valuable thing has been being introduced to the section at such a young age.
Yeah, yeah.
And then continuing.
Yes.
And now that I'm officially retired,
Yeah.
and now I work part-time for Tata and Howard,
Oh.
who is a engineering firm. They're out of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
They have an office in Waterbury.
Yeah.
And I'm their part-time admin, and I have the water experience to help support them because they're a water, wastewater,
Sure.
stormwater engineering firm. So
Sure.
it really worked out well, and I based that all on the section.
Well, I mean, I tell most of my students, when I teach my water and people course, unfortunately, with the COVID thing, I have been teaching that course for 2 years now. It's been crazy. So I'm working now with Wes Winterbottom. We're trying to develop an online curriculum as far as that goes.
Nice.
But I keep telling my students when I was teaching is the value of networking, and it's so important to,
It really is.
to know people,
Yeah.
because you never know when you're going to need somebody, and you're going to say,
Right.
I remember that person,
Right.
and vice versa.
Right. It works both ways.
It works both ways.
Certainly
Yes.
does.
You get to a point where that is, an experience that is invaluable. Plus, you get your networking happening, and they go from there. And like I say, you never know when you're going to need it. So
Right.
it works out. So, when you get to going back to regional and so forth, that obviously for most of our listeners is a quasi-public utility, correct? And so forth. So, how many customers did regional have?
Well, I just listened to the presentation, so I know that 430,000 consumers.
Wow. So,
Yes.
and again, that's a big responsibility. Now regional has both surface and well water, or is
I
it?
believe they just got into well water.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Was after I've already left, but we were just water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
right.
I think Gallard was their main reservoir, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So that's on Route 80.
Yep.
I think.
North Branford.
North Branford.
Yes.
So there. So on a personal side, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, I'm a camper.
Yeah.
I like to camp. I go outside.
Yes. Yes.
Tent camp.
Well, I can remember, all of the annual conferences that we used to go up in the Cape, and I could never afford to stay at the hotel because most of the time it was on my dime and so forth. And I know you always camped, and I
Yep.
always found a little hole in a wall hotel.
Right.
And so, but I remember you always
would
go.
always go from the very nice conference to sleeping in a tent.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
literally.
It worked out. Are you an avid hiker also, or?
I hike, but nothing to really talk about.
Okay,
No,
so now
no.
kids now. How many?
Yep, I have a son, James. He's 17.
Okay.
He's a junior. I have to talk to you about that actually. He goes to Emmett O'Brien Technical High School in Ansonia.
Okay.
And he's involved in the electrical program.
Okay.
So I was thinking that'd be a great school to reach out to bring her. But
Sure.
I should have thought of that,
Absolutely.
but yeah.
I mean, the trades are hurting. I mean,
Yes.
I think there was a time, where, and I don't want to say kids were brainwashed, but it was just like it was kind of suggested that you have to go to college, you have to, and then you look at all of the high schools around in our town. I mean, when I went to high school, you had shop, and
Right.
half the year you did woodworking, half the year you did metal.
Right.
Now they've auctioned off most of the equipment, and it's
Right.
sad.
Yeah.
They'll make a, now they've gotten into some of the stuff has gotten into the more advanced schools have gotten into some CNC stuff, but you don't see that in a normal high school. You have
Right.
to go to a trade school,
Right.
Get involved in that, and
Right.
it's sad because you don't necessarily, for students getting out of high school, you don't necessarily have to go to college,
Right.
to make.
There's other ways.
And there's other ways.
There's other ways.
You know as well as I do as far as our water industry tent is Big Tent.
Yes.
You have a variety of careers, and from the clerical side to the operational side to the construction side to the regulatory side,
finance side, and
the finance side, So
communications.
Communications, well, absolutely. So, who was your communication person at regional back in the day? I know.
Well, back in the day, it was Tom Jackson, I believe, when Kate Powell started.
Kate, yes.
And then eventually it was Kate. Kate was
yes.
Kate was there for a significant amount of time.
Carlene was also there. I don't
Carlene
know, she did a lot of legislative stuff.
Right, because she was the executive assistant to Dick McHugh.
Yep.
And then she ended up being our government affairs person.
Yes. Yeah, she texted me the other day.
It was her birthday.
Yes. I wish her happy birthday on Facebook.
Happy birthday, Carlene.
Yes. And she's now what, North Carolina or South Carolina?
One of them.
Yeah, so forth. Yes, yeah. And that's the old crew.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Good people and so forth. But go from there. Do you have any favorite sports teams?
No.
Okay.
No, not my thing.
Not your thing. Okay. All right. The question I've been asking. Okay. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pizza.
I think you're probably the fifth person that has said pizza.
Well, New Haven region, it's
it's amazing. We had I was just interviewed Eric McPhee from the state health department, and of course he said pizza also, and he says, "Oh, Sally's Pizza."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, down in New Haven, and interesting. I do another podcast for my music store, and one of the guests that we had on. Was Dean Falcone, and I don't know, are you familiar with the New Haven Pizza movie?
I think I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I do think I've remembered.
Dean was the producer of that movie. Okay, and basically it focused on the history. Rumor has it that New Haven is the pizza capital of the world.
Rumor has it, yes.
Rumor has it. So anyway, but he's an avid musician anyway, so hence coming on our podcast. So he shows up for the podcast, and he has 3 Sally's pizzas.
Nice.
Oh, it was,
nice.
And I had never had Sally's pizza.
I've only had Sally's once, believe it or not.
It was, but of course, you have Sally's, you have Modern, you have Pepe's. You have, I don't know what other ones down there. Worcester, I think, is down there too.
My favorite is Next Door. I'm going to plug it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Next Door. It's close to Modern as far as location goes off of State Street.
Okay, so.
So if the top 3 are packed, go to Next Door.
Go to Next Door. All right. But so he shows up with 3 Sally's pizzas, and I tell you, the crust is so different. And Dean always says, he says, once the pizza hits the box, he says it's no good. He says you have to have the pizza.
There's some truth to that.
Yeah, yes, there is. So, anyway, your part-time responsibilities now at Tata and Howard, what does that consist of now?
Oh, I'm the administrative assistant there.
Okay.
There's 11 of us in the Waterbury office, and I just help with finalizing reports, the clerical, physical copying and binding, and electronically filing of shop drawings and that type of thing.
So now, what from productivity software, what are most utilities? Are they pretty much Microsoft shops now? Word and all that kind of stuff. As far as that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I think that back in the day, when I started out, it was Word Perfect.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Oh, and Lotus, right?
And Paradox. My God. The learning curve. Kind of unbelievable. So. Yeah. All right. All right. That being said, let's see. What's your husband do?
He's the cabinet maker, and he's also a musician. I should hook you 2 up.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's
Jimmy.
A drummer. Yes, Jimmy.
Yes. Okay. So does he play out regularly, or?
Yeah, he's actually in 2 bands.
Is he?
Right now. He was in 3. He's from Vermont, so for many years he still played with the Vermont band.
Okay.
But he's in 2 bands in Connecticut.
Okay. I got to have him make a trip to Portland to be on our music podcast.
Yeah, he would like that.
Yeah. It's we do what my drum teacher basically is. I produce it, but he does the podcast. It's the John Peckman podcast. So if you Google it, he's on Spotify. He's on Apple. We're on YouTube. We're on but we just did our 51st show last week.
Wow.
And so forth. So he's got some good people on as far as that. So how did you and Jimmy hook up?
Well, Jim was in a band in Vermont.
Yeah.
My brother lived in Vermont at the time, so I went up for a weekend to visit my brother.
Okay.
And we went to go see them.
Oh, okay.
So then that just sort of, that was the first time I met him, but then I went back again.
Okay.
And there was the second time that we kind of, and then Facebook happened, and the rest is history.
There we go. Now you're going to watch him in a band, you know?
That's right. That's right.
Now, does your son have any musical aspirations?
No, none at all.
He's not.
Not at all. No, he's more into cars and trucks and like mechanics.
That's all right.
Type of thing. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So.
Fishing. He's a big fisherman.
Good.
Yeah.
So what? Freshwater, saltwater.
Freshwater.
Freshwater. Okay.
Freshwater.
Yeah. So it's fishing. Has the fishing been good this year so far?
Well, I don't think it's been too cold so far.
Yeah.
But it's seasonal. Spring is best.
Yeah.
Summer not so good.
Does he do any ice fishing at all?
I don't think they have this year. And his dad's avid fisherman, but I don't think they did any ice fishing.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So fantastic. All right. Well, look. Anything else you want to add?
I don't know. Just happy to be here. Good to see you, Dave.
It is great to see you. You know, I think we're, again, having everybody face to face again is just I think we all needed this.
Yes.
I think we do, and just get everybody back to saying face to face, and now that everybody was just COVID tired.
Yes.
It's just go from there. So all right, Miss Judy Soda, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to thank you. All right, that's the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you did not know about. And Judy has had quite a few of those within the industry, and thanks for sharing your expertise and your knowledge with our young listeners. So again, I'm Dave Kuzminski, your host, and we will see you next time.